In just over a week, 29 cars and 58 drivers will ascend on Mount Panorama for the super cheap auto Bathurst 1000. Today on V8 Extra, Neil takes us on a tour of the world-famous track and we look back at some of the moments that have contributed to its colourful history. All that today on this special Bathurst edition of V8 Extra.
Hi everybody, thanks for joining us once again on V8 Extra. Well, today's show is dedicated to the super cheap auto Bathurst 1000 coming up next weekend. This is a very special race and every driver that's ever participated on this racetrack absolutely falls in love with the place. Get it right and it can be one of the most rewarding days of your motor racing life. Get it wrong, and metaphorically speaking, this place will bite and it ends in tears very, very quickly. But we love the theatre, we love the drama, we love the racing, we love everything about this motor race. And so the focus of the show today is to celebrate some of the incredible things that have occurred here over many decades, and in particular to focus on this beautiful racetrack. A public road for the majority of the year, the 6.2 kilometre Mount Panorama layout has a natural shape that stirs drivers to the core. A flying lap of Bathurst is all about battling gravity, blind spots and concrete walls. The words rhythm and flow are frequently used to describe a quick Mount Panorama trip. The trick is to keep the car rolling without over-braking, especially through the iconic corners across the top. Despite the complexity of the 23 turns, the average lap speed is more than 175 kilometres an hour, with the throttle flat for well over half the journey. As the drivers roll out of pit straight, they're confronted by Mountain Straight. And by comparison to other circuits, the first thing that strikes you about this place is the steepness and the sheer speed. By the time they get to the top of that hump there, they're doing 260 kilometres an hour in fifth gear. And because of the buffeting and the turbulence, when cars are side by side, they are literally drawn together. The other feature about Mountain Straight, apart from its length, is the braking, which is uphill here into turn 2. It simply means that you can use gravity to help the job, and it is very, very steep, so you can brake super late, as Craig Lowndes discovered here on debut in 1994.
And look at him tucking right under the wing of car 17. You couldn't get much closer than that.
7.83. Oh, and he's got it! He's put one on him up the hill. I didn't think it was possible.
Oh, racing, plenty of cheers and clapping the hands. This kid is dynamite.
Fuel on the road. This is a big, big incident. Turn 2. David Bernard's actually in the car. It's not Stephen Johnson. So safety car will be deployed. And this is a very big incident at turn 2. He's backed it into the wall.
That's an enormous incident.
It'll be right on the knife edge, but Nick leaves a bit of space. Oh, in the wall. Too much space. So Perk had a mistake there by being courteous. Nick, we hope, got away with it, but let's hope there's no ongoing damage with this car. So then it's climb, climb, climb to this spot, which is the cutting, or turn 4. Again, the approach speed is very quick. Just down there, you're doing 200 kilometres an hour in fourth gear. It's concrete line, absolutely no room for error. There is an opportunity to pass. You can sneak up the inside here if your competitor is caught napping. A couple of other things to look out for here. You've got to wash a lot of speed off, and again, you can use gravity to help the cause. By the time you get to the middle of the corner or the apex, you're doing about 95 kilometres an hour in second gear. You can't see on the approach, nor can you see on the exit. Plenty of people have been caught out over the years here, and in fact this very spot is where Larry Perkins ended his V8 supercar career.
Oh, we've had another bang, and is that the
leader? Dick Johnson. Now, whether Dick has been hampered by the rescue truck here, which is out on the track, but he has gone into the fence.
The HRT car is not quite comfortable in its... Oh! Ambrose has had a massive shunt. Ambrose has had a massive shunt. So Greg Murphy's involved. More cars. The track is jammed. The track is jammed.
Look at these guys.
It's on.
And they are going to have some serious words. They are two heated men. They are two heated competitors.
We'll take our first break now on V8 Extra. When we come back, we'll continue to peel back the layers of this great racetrack at Mount Panorama, Bathurst. Now, I've seen some weird stuff here over the years, and success has sometimes meant having to sidestep a fallen tree, a Labrador dog, one or two horses, and an Australian native or two.
Here is Skippy making his annual appearance. Gut tender.
And that was the reason why I heard Garth leap onto the radio.
Off you go, mate.
The drive-in, you see the Mount Panorama sign up on the mountain. It's a pretty emotional feeling. It gives you goosebumps down the back of your neck. It's just passion. It's just all these great memories and things that just flow through your head.
I've watched since a youngster. Watched a lot of legends being made. It's a special place and sends shivers down my spine every time I get there.
Bathurst is just an amazing place. It's tough, got so much history. Grew up watching that race and really want to be like the heroes that I've watched growing up since I was a young boy.
For me, what's special about Bathurst is the history of the race. What a big deal it is in Australian sport, and it's one of the true sporting events that we have here in Australia that stops the nation.
Well, this time of the year is always a special time, knowing what Brock had brought his victories, and working pretty closely with Peter in my early stages. For me, it's a very special time of the year, knowing we're going back to a race we all want to win.
Putting those thoughts and feelings into words is not easy. Great piece there as the boys emotionally describe this great racetrack at Mount Panorama, Bathurst. Welcome back to V8 Extra. Now, if I may please, a little self-indulgence, because it was at this very spot way back in October 1977 when I saw my very first race car appear over that crest. It was a Mazda RX-3 and it came blazing by me. We're in the area between Sulman Park and Reed Park, and fortunately for many years I had the opportunity to drive here as a racing driver, and every single time I've arrived here I've had a grin from ear to ear. It's an amazing piece of road. Reason why? 200 plus kilometres an hour, fourth gear, and you plunge down the hill to the thing that we call the metal grate. It is fantastic.
Near the fence there, he did a really good job, and he's up by a tenth of a second. Will Davison has looked very, very fast this weekend so far.
Oh, he's gone. Kevin Bartlett, the row is over. Bartlett has gone. He's got Nick Johnson made into it. No, Nick got out of the way, but the back tyre is off.
Waited for this race to explode, and now it has. It's all opened up and right into the wall big time. That was a huge impact. He's managed to bounce back, but his day's done. He is out of the picture.
This is the peak of Mount Panorama at McPhillamy Park. When the cars arrive over that hump, they jump up onto two wheels, approach speeds about 215 kilometres an hour in fourth gear. Very little speed scrubbed off in here. In fact, right at the apex, the car's still doing 195 kilometres an hour. It's a very quick corner with a lot of risk, especially if you grab a bit of that curbing on the outside at the exit.
We have an enormous traffic jam. We've had a horrendous crash at the top of the mountain. By the look of it, Bobby Morrison, number 7 is around sideways, 57 is there, one of the Recar team cars. We have an absolute blocked track at the top of the mountain.
At McPhillamy Park, a burst tyre on Brown's car causes the most horrifying crash ever witnessed at Bathurst.
A tyre burst on the car, causing it to veer straight ahead into the bank. There, and I was a bit worried, for the crowd's sake, that the car would sort of jump the fence and end up in amongst the people. It was just crashing and glass breaking and banging and carrying on.
Incredible images. That was Bill Brown in the Falcon. How he and that marshal survived that shunt is a real miracle. The good news is Bill's still a fan to this very day. Had a cup of coffee with him in Sydney just recently. That was one of the big moments here back in the day. All right, we'll take a break now. We'll go off to the break and let's celebrate the master and the apprentice, Brock and Lowndes.
There's Brock at work.
Listen to that crowd.
Look at the rear wheel. It was off the deck over the top of McPhillamy.
Oh! Check out Lowndes' car here. Oh! That's what the painted white line will do for you.
The chopper shot made it not look quite so bad.
Yeah, as soon as I saw it, I knew what it was.
Bathurst, the track is, it's like nothing else we've got in Australia. Across the top of the hill is just, you can't explain it. It's literally a hold your breath moment where you hope and pray that you make it through there lap after lap. It's that sort of a white knuckle ride.
Oh, and right out near the fence there.
It's scary, it's physical, it's fast.
Unbelievable speed, a huge amount of courage, bravery. You know, it's every combination of every circuit rolled into one.
Anytime you think you've found the limit, you find a little bit more. It's actually nearly frightening, but there is no greater thrill, no greater buzz than when you nail the perfect lap around there.
Pole position at the mountain.
A lot of guys from Europe and from all over the world who have raced on tracks like the Nürburgring still come to Bathurst and go, wow, that's a racetrack.
Yeah, it's got an element of danger, definitely an element of danger. It's fast, it's flowing, yeah, it's one of a kind.
Talk to any first-time visitor to Mount Panorama and they're always blown away by three things: how steep, how narrow, and the crazy speeds. This is Skyline right at the peak of the mountain, and by way of example, from McPhillamy to here, before you put your foot on the brake pedal, 225 to 230 kilometres an hour. And then from this top point here, plunging off the mountain, all downhill from here, to get to a target speed by the time you get down to the dipper in second gear, about 85 or 90 kilometres an hour. And as the car runs down here, you've got to keep pointing the nose, feeding it brake, and the rear of the car has to be virtually out of control.
Oh,
big moment there. That was ugly for James Moffat. He was very lucky to recover that. You don't get away with that too often.
Listen to the cheers. If he keeps that up, I hate to think what the final lap time is.
Oh, he's hit the fence and he's gone off the track into a tree. As we bring you these pictures from
There's
the top
Dick Johnson. It's centre picture now. There he is, taking the helmet off. He's okay.
This is Forest Elbow, the gateway to Conrod Straight, the longest and fastest straight in Australasian motorsport and one of the longest and fastest in the world. It's a popular spot to pass on the inside here, but if you're going to pull that move, you've got to be really decisive and flag it early and get the car jammed down the inside. It's also really easy to make a mistake there, and people clip the inside wall with the front left wheel.
Goodness me! Just as we're running through the leaderboard, and that looks like a major engine failure for our race leader, Wayne Gardner, in the Donut King Coca-Cola Commodore. Look at the smoke belching from the exhaust. Wayne Gardner throws the arms. Oh, now he's dropped a ton of oil, and I think it's the Mitre 10 Ford. Goodness me. He's dropped a whole lot of oil on the road.
This is Conrod Straight, and it represents more than 1,350 metres of wide open throttle. Starts up at Forest Elbow in second gear, and by the time the cars arrive down here and turn in on this little extra verge or apron, they're doing 300 kilometres an hour. Engines are out of breath, 7,500 RPM. Now, to put that into perspective, that means they're rushing through here 83.3 metres with every passing second. That means they would cover the entire playing field at the MCG in just 2 seconds, and it leads to the wildest corner in the country. Watch the leader, huge, huge, huge moment through the chase. 300 kilometres an hour, surfs out the other side, almost rolls the Castrol forward, gathers it up, drops a bunch of spots. The race has gone off.
That is amazing. He's had to lose here. This is gone now.
Look at him feeding gears, like it didn't roll.
Whoa!
It's rolled.
Oh my goodness. One of the Bundaberg Red races has gone over.
That was a monster moment. Look at this. I think he's ended up on the grass out there as he's turned it in, and off it's gone. Just illustrates the pace. Look, it's just an explosion. And nothing left of it as Fabian gets out. Time now for another break on V8 Extra, but before we sneak off to the break, I wanted to show you some of the new safety improvements here at Mount Panorama. On the run to the final corner, new concrete wall here, about 200 or 300 metres of it, makes it infinitely safer than it once was. And big changes also to the pit straight, a new wall and also new debris safety fencing there as well. And by the way, after the race meeting, a multi-million-dollar resurfacing and upgrade of the entire racetrack. So as always, a very big thanks to everybody affiliated with the Bathurst City Council for their ongoing support of this incredible racetrack. Take a break now on Extra. When we come back, we'll wrap it all up here from Bathurst.
Bathurst. What makes Bathurst special to me is the history. When I think about the race as a kid, watching it in the lounge room, watching the likes of Peter Brock, Dick Johnson, Alan Moffat, and then having the opportunity to sit on the grid in that very race where legends were born, made, where drivers have been through pain and success, and feeling both of those emotions as well. To me, that's what makes Bathurst probably one of the biggest races that I've ever been, and one of the biggest races in the world.
Russell Ingall there, what an innings he's had at this location. 21 starts for 19 finishes. His first encounter here back in 1990 with Kevin Bartlett and Rowan Onslow. 17th back then. Along the way, a couple of wins. He's had an incredible innings at Mount Panorama Bathurst. Looking forward to having him back here in the future, potentially as a co-driver. Well, as you can probably see, we've turned up now at the finish line. So I reckon the best thing to do is to sit back, crank up the audio and enjoy 6,213 metres, 23 corners of amazing racetrack. Let's celebrate Mount Panorama. Well, I hope you've enjoyed our very special preview of the Super Cheap Auto Bathurst 1000. And in case you needed reminding, here's our next event. Race number 29 of the championship. It's all going to happen here next weekend. Super Cheap Auto Bathurst 1000, Mount Panorama Bathurst, October 10 through 13. It is going to be a huge event. Check your local guides. We're on air Friday, Saturday and Sunday. So on behalf of the entire Seven Motorsport team, thanks for your company today. Look forward to having you with us right here next weekend from Mount Panorama Bathurst. Bye for now.